Hello and welcome to Shooties with Lewis and Jason.
That's Lewis with a shocked face, and I'm Jason.
It was taking a wee second to start recording. I wasn't sure if it actually started yet
He
or
came
not.
in going,
First of all, very Merry Christmas to everyone, and soon to be Happy New Year as well.
With it being Happy New Year, I think we're going to take this time to review the year as a whole, and we're going to host our first ever annual awards. What is the official name for these awards, Lewis?
The Shooties, it makes it sound like football awards. This is
I know,
like
I know.
wrestling.
It was either going to be the Shooties or the Workies, but the Workies are the people you work with, so it's not the Workies.
um, just on a slightly more serious note before we start, last night, at the time of the recording anyway, last night, unfortunately, John Huber, I hope I pronounced that right, also known as Brody Lee in AEW or Luke Harper in WWE, sadly passed away. So our thoughts go out to his family and all the AEW roster and all the people that he's worked with. There's been so many lovely messages
Yep.
posted on Twitter and things. It's really, really sad. He was only 41.
Yep.
But yeah, our thoughts go out to his family. Very sad.
Yeah, I was just going to say another one of the wrestling community that has gone way too soon.
Yeah, nah. For all accounts, he was a very bright light in the wrestling community, and that's unfortunately gone out last night. But moving on.
Moving on to maybe some more positive notes in this podcast.
Fuck this year, by the way. This year's been rubbish.
It has. We're going to review this rubbish year though. So, what is?
There's been some good moments in wrestling too.
Yep.
So we're going
Um.
over.
Yeah. I just before we start, I want to actually just say that it's been great that because this year has been so rubbish that wrestling as a whole has still managed to put on shows, even though unfortunately we can't go and see them live. They've still kept us going this year, to be fair.
Yeah, and I mean, if it was, who knows, if it wasn't for the global lockdown, we may never have started this podcast.
Yeah, that's how it began. Yeah.
So you've got COVID to thank for getting to listen to our amazingness. Don't think that's a word, but anyway, moving
What
on.
is the first category? What is the first shooty?
So the first shooty, we need to think of a better name, but the first shooty is a very popular one. Any award always has this, so it's the Male Wrestler of the Year.
Ooh.
So the number one guy out of any company. So Jason, who's your pick for Male Wrestler of the Year?
Of the whole entire year, male wrestler. There's been quite a few. There's been quite a few good male wrestlers. For 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 me, I think I would need to go Drew McIntyre. I would say he's been fairly solid. Um, he obviously had his feud with Randy Orton. I didn't agree that he dropped the belt to get it back, but apart from that, he's had a good solid year, and his matches have always been very impressive this year. To be fair, so that's my pick for male wrestler of the year.
Well, for me, it was a bit of a toss-up. I very nearly went with Drew McIntyre. Especially being from the same town as them and all. But I'll be contrarian with this one. I'm going to go with John Moxley. For very similar reasons for the two of them. Both of them held the main title in a major promotion for the majority of 2020, which I'm sure was no easy task. A lot of things were kind of chopped and changed, and there was a lot of curveballs thrown. I mean, Renee Young ended up with COVID at one point, which meant that a title match had to get cancelled, and all these different things. And I mean, Drew McIntyre was the same, but simply to be contrarian, I'll go with John Moxley because I think the two guys did an absolutely fantastic job of leading the company through this really confusing and unpredictable time. So
Mhm.
yeah, John Moxley's my pick.
Yep, yep. I would say on that, basically both of them were the world champion. Yeah, they both sort of carried the company through the difficult times. So I guess you can say both are very strong picks. But guys, can you tell which show Lewis watches yet? Can you tell?
Oh, just wait till we get to the later words. But So next up, in true fashion, we'll go for female wrestler of the year. So who's your pick for the female wrestler of the year?
Oh, female wrestler of the year. Now, I'm sorry, not picking anybody in AEW. They need to step that game up real quick.
Yeah, I know. I mean, as much as a AEW mark I am, I've not picked any of the AEW women.
To be honest, I'm really digging Bailey. I really like her as a heel. I'm liking that. So, ding dong, picking Bailey.
Ding dong, hello.
Hello, picking Bailey.
Bailey's been good. To be fair, she has been good. I think she's a lot more entertaining than she was as a sort of white meat baby face
I know.
and sort of like childish character.
Since she cut her hair, took that bobble out, she's been really good, man.
I have enjoyed Bailey. I think it's funny though because I think she's actually been better since she lost the title. So since
hmm
she's not had the championship and she's not been with Sasha, she's been a lot better as a heel. Because
hmm
I think she always felt sort of second fiddle to Sasha because you knew eventually Sasha was going to turn and beat her. So now that that's finally happened, she's been quite entertaining as a heel. I can't lie. Um,
But who is your
but
official pick, though?
my official pick, unfortunately, it's not Bailey. As good as she's been recently, I didn't enjoy her title run. Personally, I didn't enjoy
No.
her friendship with Sasha. So for me, I'm gonna have to go with Asuka.
Asuka's a
Uh,
good pick, also.
yeah. Well, the thing is with Asuka, she's been great for years, and I
hmm
mean her NXT days especially were fantastic. But
hmm
I think when she did first come up to the main roster, not straight away because she was booked well when she first came up, but
hmm
after her loss to Charlotte, it was kind of she was sort of bouncing around a little bit, and then
Yeah.
um, they fed her to Becky Lynch so that Becky Lynch could go on and have her big title run. But I really feel like Asuka's found her place in the roster now,
Yeah.
so to
Well,
speak.
yeah. Well, I think as well that when Becky Lynch left for being like obviously she was pregnant, so congratulations to Becky Lynch, of course. But when she
Mm,
left, a massive hole was sort of left in that division.
yeah.
And I think Asuka has picked it up really, really well.
Oh yeah,
Um,
she's definitely took the figurative ball and ran with it.
Definitely very, very entertaining as well on the promo. I only understand about 2% of the promo, but still very entertaining nonetheless.
Because there's only about 2% of the promo that's actually in English. A
I
lot of the
know,
time she just starts screaming in Japanese, and it's so entertaining.
I know. Did you see her with Charlotte the last day? That Charlotte like seems to understand a lot of Japanese by the sounds of things, but she was just screaming in Japanese. Then Charlotte was like, "Oh, yep, I understand what that means," and it was quite funny to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Um,
that's a good pick as well. So again, we've went for basically you've went for the one that was mostly Raw Women's Champion through this most of the year, and I've went for the one that was mostly SmackDown Champ for most of
yeah.
the year. So
The thing is, I mean, I probably, if it hadn't been for the fact that Becky Lynch had went away so early in the year, I probably would have picked her. But I think, again, similar to what we were saying about Drew McIntyre and John Moxley, Asuka has been champion for the majority of this year. So
yep.
she's held that, because I mean, even with the SmackDown Women's title, I know Bayley was champion, but she wasn't really doing too much with it, and it was sort of floundering a little bit. But Asuka has been a sort of solid champion, solid face champion
Yeah.
throughout the whole of 2020, and she's been top notch.
Yeah. To be fair, Asuka was defending the belt, and with Bailey, they were more focusing on building the friendship turn
Hmm.
storyline. So
Yeah,
they
the
were
whole golden role model thing.
yeah, they were more focusing on them being the women's tag champs to get the turn going. So no, I understand your thoughts on that. But yeah, that is our female pick of the year. Um, what is the next shooty?
The next shooty we're going to move on to is Tag Team of the Year. Now,
Ooh.
Tag Team of the Year can be quite a controversial one. Well, tag team wrestling in general. And if you want to hear us talk more about that, check out the last episode we did of Shoot the Work, where we looked at all things tag team wrestling. But back to it. Tag
Yep.
team of the year. What's your pick, Jason?
I think what you just did there was the Shooty for cheap plug of the year.
Cheap plug.
The tag team of the year. Oh, right. Well, tying in with the previous episode, we talked about the WWE state of tag teams. So I'm not going to go WWE. Not really digging a lot of tag teams in WWE this year. Um, I'm I'm going to go with the Good Brothers in Impact.
Oh.
I'm going to go for an Impact tag team because I felt that they should have been up there anyway. WWE made them tag team of the year at the tail end of last year and then released them. So I was sort of found them a bit harshly treated there, and then they went to Impact, and I think they've been solid since then. Great promo work, funny on the mic, solid matches. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Good Brothers.
Yeah, Good Brothers are good. Pardon the pun. No, the Good Brothers have been very good. As much as this T-shirt may suggest, though, I'm not going to go with Bullet Club. I think for tag team of the year, and this is when I say controversial, I this one really is. But my pick for the best tag team of the year is the Young Bucks.
Oh wow! Who would have thought you would have went the Young Bucks? Who would have
Listen,
thought it?
listen. This isn't just because I'm an AEW mark, right? The thing with the Young Bucks is similar to Asuka. They've been one of the best for a very long time, but I feel like in AEW they've really sort of found the perfect middle ground between being the sort of quote unquote authority figure. They've found a really interesting and entertaining way of doing it where it's not like they're the Vince McMahon who they can just decide what they're doing. They do work for it. And I think just the sort of storylines that we're in with the whole Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, that whole storyline with Hangman then getting kicked out and the Young Bucks losing the opportunity to fight them again, have the rematch, and then FTR winning, and then this massive storyline that's been 5 years in the making with the Young Bucks and FTR. The Young Bucks came out on top, which I think I wasn't too sure about that decision, but since they've won, they've been really entertaining. So, and I can't wait to see them fight again. But I think the Young Bucks have really just shown that they know exactly what they're doing. And I think that's the biggest thing, not just from a in-ring perspective, because they've always been amazing in the ring, but with them being the EVPs of AEW, they've really sort of created a really interesting dynamic. And for anyone who watches Being the Elite, they're absolutely hilarious on that too. They're fantastic. So yeah, Young Bucks for me.
Young Bucks. See, to be fair, before you made yours, I was like, I thought you were going to go Omega and Hangman because they were pretty good before obviously they made the storyline kick in.
Well, anyone who listened to that tag team episode will know I don't like put together tag teams.
We
Don't
don't. We have mentioned that. I think a couple times maybe. Oh, definitely. Yeah, pretty much. But if you want to just quickly talk about tag teams, I feel disappointed still that Otis and Tucker are no more. Gutted.
Otis and Tucker are good. I do miss them. But anyway, moving on.
Moving swiftly on. Yep. Okay. So what are we on here? What is the next shooty?
So the next one we're going for is promo of the year.
Promo
So
of the
best promo.
year. Promo of the year. Right. Okay. Call me cynical, but I find it hard to give WWE promo of the year when some guy in the office wrote it.
Some TV show writer.
You know what I mean? Like I wrote it on a piece of paper, gave it to Roman Reigns. He said it. Promo of the year.
Nah, definitely not going with any WWE one.
No, I am going to go with MGF, state of the company.
You mother trucker.
Um,
Don't
I'm a bad mother trucker. That is. But that means does that mean, are we right in saying that we can actually fully award this to MGF and he's the official Shooty winner? Is this what we're saying?
Well, since we are agreeing that MGF state of the company was top notch, a quick honourable mention for the Eddie Kingston and John Moxley promo before their match, because that was also really great.
No, wait, we're not going for Jake the Snake when he busted a nut? No?
No, we're not going down that road again. But no, since we're agreeing, a quick honourable mention, that promo was when he's talking about his mother and all that stuff. That was top notch. But MGF state of the company, top level heel work.
Since we're agreeing and you've went for an honourable mention, let's be different. My honourable mention, I know it's going to be a surprise, but Taz with Cody Rhodes, that took me by surprise.
That was very good.
That really, really did take me by surprise.
I did enjoy that, actually. That was very good.
I didn't expect that, like, because I'm used to Taz being the happy-go-lucky guy that either like calls a match or he doesn't really speak that much on promo. But that was pretty fire from him.
No, that was very good. I did very much enjoy that. But no, MGF state of the company, I think the timing of it was fantastic when all the debates were going on, like in real life in America with Biden and Trump. The timing was really great. The whole promo, I mean, you're literally hanging in his every word. And yeah, it was top notch heel work. The slight jabs he gets in, where he compares Moxley to Stone Cold. He's like, oh, that's the bottom line. And he keeps calling him Dictator John as well, which I thought was just it was just brilliant. The whole thing was fantastic. That and the Dinner Debonair, where him and Chris Jericho sang, that was again just bad. I just love everything that they've done. The whole Inner Circle thing, I think it's been really, really great. But yeah, that state of the company address really stands out as the best promo of the year for me.
Yeah, I liked it because like MJF's promos, they're really good. He gets his points across. He makes you feel them, but he doesn't have to. Like a lot of wrestlers, they fall into the trap where they get the mic and they feel like they need to shout at you. Where he's not aggressive at all in his promo. It's nice and sort of.
There's a really clever subtlety to a lot of MJF's promos as well, I think, because there's certain like sort of quick comments that he'll make that make you just dislike him even more.
Yeah.
And you don't even realise it's just like just douchey things he'll say in the middle of talking.
Yeah.
Like that woman he had with him. And then he was like, listen, honey, we need you to smell a bit more. And he just like out of nowhere would just say that, and it's like, oh, you're such a dick.
I quite liked how Jericho, because Jericho's very quick and witty as well, and I quite liked how they were bouncing off each other.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they two are fantastic.
When he was trying to get into the Inner Circle and stuff, and they're bouncing off each other promos and stuff. It's good.
Yeah, no, that was. So the next one that we've got here is face or heel turn of the year. We've combined it into one award because there's not been too many switches this year. So face or heel turn of the year. What's your pick?
See, it was difficult because I'm trying to think. I was like, was there many at all? And then I was like, was there many good ones? I was like, so there's not been a massive amount, to be fair. And the one that I could sort of think of off the top of my head that was pretty decent was when Buddy Murphy eventually turned on Rollins. And he aligned himself with Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Not sure if I'm digging what happened afterwards, but the initial turn was good.
That was. Well, I'll give you 3 guesses what my pick is for heel turn of the year.
Well, to be fair, the company that's going to probably be in, I'll give you 3 letters. Is it AEW?
So
it goes to me.
Yeah, Shooty for most obvious comment of the year. But no, heel turn of the year for me, Kenny Omega winning the AEW World Title.
And then
That was
he ran out on the company. Oh.
He did, but the things that set in motion was just it was just incredible. I thought. I think it was the whole thing was set up so well, and everything since it happened has been done so well. Like him showing up, like from the moment it happened, with him hitting Moxley and winning, and then him running off with Don Callis, and then saying, "Oh, we'll be on Tuesday Impact," and everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
Yep.
And then him
Yep.
to then him showing up in Impact, and I don't know if you will have listened to it, or any of the people watching this probably will have listened to it if you're a fan of wrestling podcasts. Talk is Jericho. Kenny Omega and Don Callis appeared on Talk is Jericho, and they were it was a sort of work shoot. A lot of the stuff they were talking about really was real, but then there was a few sort of worked promos into it.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to tip my hat off to I'm a mark for the Impact, you know what I'm saying? But they've always been really, really open to cross-promotional sort of stories and angles and tournaments, like the X Cup that they're just bringing.
The Super X.
Yep, they always have the Super X Cup, and they always bring people for like Lucha Underground, and this time they're doing it with AEW, which has got to be absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
A bit of Otis there from you there. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think when they join up and the full story goes into full flow, and these sort of stars, I think we're going to end up with both sort of. They're going to end up invading each other, I think, with the way this is going. Maybe some Bullet Club.
Bullet Club.
And I think once it gets into full flow, it's WWE are going to need to watch their ratings, man.
Yeah. I think especially with the whole sort of storyline that they're building to, with Omega teaming with the Good Brothers, and they're reforming the old Bullet Club, quote unquote. And then I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, I think I told you about it, but on Twitter they were like Tama Tonga has been tweeting about it and saying, oh no, if you're either in Bullet Club or you're not in Bullet Club, and he posted a photo of all the ones that are there just now, like Jay White and all the, like himself and all the ones that are there just now, and he was like, "This is the real Bullet Club," and I think what is going to happen is you're going to have the Elite, so the Bucks, Omega, Good Brothers, maybe Hangman versus the Bullet Club of like Tama Tonga, Jay White, maybe even bring in Marty Scurll from Ring of Honor, and all the guys that are in Japan just now once the travel restrictions are eased off. I think they will do that eventually, because they've obviously got a good relationship with Japan. They still already work with Japan. I think Moxley's their US champion just now still. So I could definitely see them working together. But the thing that started it all was Kenny Omega's heel turn, and you don't have a heel turn like that has such an impact on the entire wrestling industry without getting the Shooty from me. So
to be fair, you've made a very strong argument for the Shooty. Yeah, I was trying to think, and how could I even like forget the Omega heel turn? Like it just happened. It's just set the rest. Because the thing is that now I think I'm just so excited for this sort of cross brand thing and see where it's going to go that you totally forget that it's the heel turn that totally started it all, and him leaving.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing is as well with the whole sort of Omega heel turn and becoming the cleaner again and all that sort of good stuff.
All that good stuff.
The thing with that happening is it was such a slow burner. Like you see him sort of start to get a bit more pissed off with things, and like he was starting to be a bit of a dick, but he wasn't full on heel. And then he was like sort of when he was finishing his match, obviously AEW have the face tunnel and the heel tunnel, and when he finished his match, he went to walk down the heel tunnel and then realized, oh wait, no, and then went back in the other one. And I think it was just they teased it very well, and especially, I think the thing with any storyline that the Elite are involved in, you need to, if you like that sort of stuff, if you like AEW, you like the Elite, you need to watch Being the Elite, because there's so much more to all the storylines than what you see on TV. Being the Elite expands on all of it, and to see like Omega on Being the Elite slowly become more and more of a dick to people, and then all of a sudden you see in one of the episodes he's talking about it, and he's like, nah, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to be in any of the videos anymore, and all that sort of stuff. And I it was just brilliant, the whole thing. I love Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is probably my favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
Like Mark.
I know. So that's Lewis finished telling you how much Omega is the best.
And I'll stop sucking his dick now.
Yeah. Yep. So once you've wiped your mouth, what's the next shooty?
So the next one is championship win of the year.
Ooh,
so
championship win of the year. Ooh.
Before we go through the picks, don't worry. That's not also my pick. I'm not going to start talking about Kenny Omega again. I made sure to pick a different one.
I know. Oh, wait on that. So championship win of the whole year.
Mm.
Well, I've been going firstly. What is your pick of the year?
My
For
pick.
championship?
My pick of the year probably has got to be Keith Lee becoming the double champ, beating Adam Cole, ending the longest NXT title run of all time, and becoming the North American and NXT champion. The whole thing was just, Keith Lee deserved it. He just did. He's such a great wrestler, and that moment was just phenomenal.
That is a very good pick.
What about you?
Unexpected pick, but a good one nonetheless. This is a difficult one, to be fair.
Yeah, because there's been quite a few good title victories. Like, I mean, honorable mention has to go out to Mr. Brody Lee, because that was, he just squashed Cody.
Yeah, that was for was it the TNT?
TNT title, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Him because again, so unexpected. It was just another one of Cody's many weekly TNT title defenses, and he just came out and absolutely destroyed him, hospitalized him. Then had Anna Jay kick shit out of Brandy Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. They're all laid out. It was just great.
I am gonna go for Sami Zayn winning the Intercontinental Championship from AJ Styles and Hardy in the ladder match.
Oh, you mean retaining?
Well, winning, retaining. Was he the champ or was it really was it AJ that was the champ at the time?
If you ask Sami Zayn, he retained it.
Yeah, so to be
if you ask MD else, he won it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to put you in the bracket of winning it because you're a shooty winner. So if you don't want to be a shooty winner, you retained it. So, so choice is yours.
Don't give him
Sammy.
that ultimatum, because I think we'd be in for a bit of a harsh reality check.
Obviously, you'd be like, "Oh, I totally won it then," because obviously I want the shooty because he gave away Sammy. So,
oh man, I mean, personally, I disagree, because I love Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn deserved better, and he should never have been stripped of his title just because he didn't want to come in during a fucking pandemic. So he retained it. He was still the Intercontinental Champion.
Well, I can see how WWE react, because I imagine how my work would react if I said, "Nah, no coming in today." Pandemic and that. So they would probably strip me of my title of job.
Yeah, it's a bit different if it's a pandemic, though, Jason.
See the two guys that worked through the pandemic.
I was furloughed.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
Remember, I
So,
was furloughed for like 5 months.
so
That's
lucky Bam of the
fantastic.
year goes to Lewis. Yeah, so mine's is Sami Zayn. Because again, if you want to look back on previous podcasts that we have done, we gave him zero chance, no chance. He was never going to win that match, ever.
No.
In fact, we kind of dissed you a bit there, Sammy, and you won.
I definitely didn't think he was going to win that. I thought it was going to be. I actually thought it was going to be Styles, but
So did I. So did I, and I thought Hardy was going to look like he was going to win another Hardy high spot, and then he was going to lose it. But
as much as I wanted Sammy to win, I didn't think he was going to. But I was very impressed. Very clever.
yep. Because I thought that they were going to do him dirty, and he wasn't going to win. But I wanted him to win. But he won. So that's why he's my pick for this year's shooty for the championship win of the year. That brings us on to a little something, doesn't it, Lewis?
A little something.
A little something.
So, due to unforeseen circumstances, I'll not go into too much detail because it's a really dumb story. But basically, we have an AEW official Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It says background.
There you go. Background. This deserves no background.
For those listening on Spotify or like any audio only service, you're probably going to be wondering what's going on.
What is in it? What is that?
Official unrivaled Series 2 Hangman Adam Page figure. Basically, it ended up, due to these circumstances, I came into possession of 2 of them. So I kept one for myself and decided that the second one we were going to do a giveaway on the podcast. Now, chances are, if you're listening to the podcast at the moment, a lot of people will have probably came from our Facebook page or Twitter or whatever it is you follow us on. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you a trivia question. Okay. Now that trivia question is: when Randy Orton beat Drew McIntyre this year, what did that make his total title runs? So how many title runs has he had as of his latest one? Now, what you need to do is to be in with a chance of winning the Hangman Page figure, which is super rare at the moment because they're sold out everywhere. Can't get them anywhere. You know, the only place you can get them is eBay. We need to pay double the price, which I did twice. But
and of course, we did that just so that one of you lucky listeners or viewers could be in with a chance to win this amazing figure.
Exactly, and it's completely free. You don't need to pay a penny.
Sorry,
all you need to do is listen to the episode. You need to be following us on Twitter, and you need to like and share the post and message us the answer. So don't comment the answer because then it gives it away. Reduces your chances if you comment it because other people will see it and they'll answer it. So you don't want to give anyone else the answer. You want to just tell us, and we will pick a winner. Probably at some point early in the new year. We'll do probably do like a live video or something for it where we reveal the winner.
Yep.
But yeah, so if you want to be in with a chance of winning Hangman Adam Page, look, he's even got a little rope. He's got a vest. He's got a bandana on. I know all about the bandanas, and you know, Jason, you know how much I love a bandana. But yeah, if you want to win this, just go onto our Twitter. You'll see the post, like and retweet it, and DM is the answer. But you need to be following us to win, because if you're not following us, what's the point?
Yeah, and you have to, just to repeat, you have to DM us the answer of when Randy Orton beat Drew McIntyre this year. How many World Heavyweight Championship runs has he had?
Mm-hmm. No, that doesn't include Intercontinental or any like tag team or anything like that. Just world title wins. How many total had he had? But yeah, so that's a giveaway. Got some cool wee treat for you guys, for people who listen to us. You know, hopefully some new people as well. But moving on with the shooties. The next one that we have here is Rivalry of the Year.
Ooh, Rivalry of the Year. There's been a few juicy ones. There's been
There
a few
has.
juicy. We were actually discussing this earlier because there'd been that many juicy ones that I really couldn't decide. So we had a side discussion before this. And it sort of brought to my attention that Jey Uso and Roman Reigns was very, very good.
It was very good.
It was very good. It really put Jey Uso in a different light because I really thought when Jimmy was injured that I was like, what are they going to do with this guy? Is he going to do nothing until Jimmy comes back? Is he? And then they just had him in the world title picture. I know obviously he got absolutely demolished by Reigns several occasions, but the storytelling was there. The storytelling was definitely there. The matches were good, even though, like, that's what I'm saying, even though it was one-sided a lot of the time, it was the storytelling that really made it a great rivalry. So that is my pick for rivalry of the year.
Well, yeah, it was fantastic rivalry. Totally agree with you. Worthy of the pick. For me though, I think you might be surprised at who I pick with this one because it's not AEW.
Oh.
It is WWE. Well, more specifically NXT.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole.
That is a good rivalry.
That really caught me off guard because, again, I spoke about it on one of the recent episodes, but I got worked. I was so sure that was real. The whole thing with them, like, arguing on the podcast and Adam Cole shouting and swearing and storming out and kicking over stuff and all this. It seemed real. It didn't seem like a work, and I was more than convinced that it was real. They did actually kick off. And then when obviously McAfee came to NXT, they sort of made up, but then they got in a bit of a fight, and Adam Cole's climbing over the table, and he just runs and punt kicks him. Oh, that was just fantastic. And their match that they had, holy shit. I did not expect... I said this before. Pat McAfee is better than he has any right to be in the ring. Because he is a celebrity. He's a guy who doesn't wrestle. He's came in to do a wrestling match, and he was phenomenal. And then in the War Games match, again, he was fantastic in it. He was one of the best in there.
Yeah.
He kept up with, especially I think it would be hard when you're with a group of guys who are so good. Guys like Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, all these guys who are so good at what they do. And you've got then Pat McAfee there, and you're like, oh, well, he's not going to be a focal point. But then he actually is one of the biggest talking points of the whole match.
Yeah.
But no, that whole rivalry, simply because they managed to work me. And I usually pride myself on being a smark.
Yeah. So. No, I remember that well. And then when it first happened, I was like, oh, well, Pat McAfee deserved to get shouted at because he was a bit of a dick in that interview, wasn't he? And and then suddenly it was a total work, and I was like, oh, what? This is going to be a match, and then he came back and totally beat them all down with these new members of his group and that, and I was like, that's unreal, and I maybe expected him to be good on the mic, maybe. Which he is, but yeah, you're absolutely right. The matches that he can pull off with being who he is he shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But yeah, that's definitely my pick for rivalry of the year. Now, the next one that we have is a rather funny one. So we're going to go for Botch of the year. Now, for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with wrestling terminology, a botch is when a wrestler messes up. So they fall, they hurt themselves, they do something wrong. So we're going to go for a botch of the year. Jason, what's your pick for botch of the year?
I'm gutted that this never happened this year because the tightest world slide should win every single year.
Yeah. Honorable mention until the end of time for the tightest world slide.
That should win every single year. But things that happened in 2020. Oh, right. I think I'm just going to go for a a rivalry because I think any that happened during Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy should just be because there was one where Guevara smashed him in the face with the wrong chair and bust him clean open. There was one where
I don't even know if it was the wrong chair, but I know that when he threw it, the way he threw it, the leg of the chair went right into his forehead, and that's what it was, because you saw the leg go right in, and it just bust him wide open.
he never flung a folding chair at him. He flung like a solid chair with four legs. That's not the chair you hit people with, Sammy. Like, come on,
I
man.
know. Oh no, it was
It's like
bad. That was so much blood.
you're supposed to pick a folding chair and then you're supposed to throw it so it hits them flat. You did neither of those things. Double botch. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to go with. Sammy Guevara's chair shot.
Good choice. Good choice. For me, I've got two because I can't decide between the two, and we're both deserve the award as much as each other, but for different reasons. So, Matt Hardy, when he fell off the scissor lift and hit his head, holy shit.
That was scary.
That was terrifying. And like, we have a lot of humor in the show, but genuinely, that was really scary. Because I love Matt Hardy. I've been a Hardy Boys fan since I first started watching wrestling. I've always loved the Hardys. Mm-hmm. And that was, I genuinely thought he was done wrestling.
Yeah, when he tried to get up and he was purple, I was like,
that was
wow.
So scary.
Yeah, the thing with wrestling is because a lot of it is choreographed and stuff, and other like moves are meant to look sore. When it first happened, you're like, wow, that was sick. That looked like it really hurt. And then when he was struggling to get up, it really showed you that these guys are human beings. You know what I mean? They're not just crazy guys that'll never get hurt, no matter what they're doing.
No, I remember just a kind of quick anecdote about that. Me and my fiance were watching that show live, and I remember when it happened because it was really just sort of out of nowhere. You see them sort of fighting in the scissor lift, and you can see the table. You see the tables that are set up in position, so you know they're going to come off it. But then you see him; it just goes too far over the table. So it's like from his waist down goes through the table, but then you just see his head bounce. But it's so quick, like his head it literally just goes and bounces off it. But I remember I said to my fiance, because then they sort of cut away from it and there's all of the sort of confusion. And I remember saying to my fiance, I was like, he hit his head there. And like we're watching it on Fight TV, so I rewinded it. And we watched it again, and you just see his head smack off the concrete, and oh, it's so terrifying. I mean, me and her were sitting both with tears in our eyes, like proper freaking out, because it was a really scary moment. But then, like you say, then he starts sort of falling about, and then he then climbs up the rafter and finishes the match. It's just it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that AEW actually allowed that to finish. It's crazy because they were kind of in two minds, because 1 minute the X is going up, next minute they're like, oh, he could do it. They're like, maybe he can't. And to be honest, looking at his face and stuff when he was trying to get back up, I would have took it as just end it there, because it was really scary to watch.
But then it turned out, I remember reading the thing though, because then it turned out he hadn't actually concussed himself. He wasn't actually concussed, which I thought was strange.
Did he have any injuries from that?
No, he was absolutely fine. He only took like a week off. He was on like the next show. But I think it looked worse than it was. I think there definitely was an aspect of that. Because I think I think he has knocked himself out. I think that's been the problem. He's knocked himself unconscious, and then when he's came to and he's tried to get up, he's still been really dazed.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it looked a lot worse than it maybe was because as I say, it turned out that he didn't have any serious injuries. He hadn't concussed himself or anything like that. I don't think there was even any blood. He hadn't even burst himself open. So I think there definitely was an aspect, but at the time it was very scary, and I genuinely thought he was going to be finished wrestling after that. I thought that was going to end his career if that was all that happened.
Yeah, and I know you shouldn't because I know accidents happen, but then with the serious events, because my pick was Sammy Guevara, Matt Hardy with the chair, and then your pick was the scissor lift, then I know accidents happen, but you start blaming Sammy Guevara because you're like, this is twice now, man. Like,
but then Matt Hardy bust Sammy open as well at one point. And because I remember as well, they were talking. His wife was tweeting. Is it Rebby or
Rebby Sky?
She was tweeting about it and saying, that Matt Hardy was kind of the most at fault for him going back out and finishing the match. And I think Sammy Guevara, people, especially at the time, people wanted to jump on Sammy Guevara's back and kind of blame him for it, but it wasn't just his fault. I mean, the chair thing, I think probably was, but the way that Hardy came off the lift, that was the two of them. That was a mix of the two of them fucking it up. Fucking up a move.
Yeah, that one I totally understood it because, see, to be fair, although these guys do it on a weekly, monthly basis, it's easy to overshoot a table. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's literally it's centimeters we're talking here. You know what I mean?
Plus, I mean, like I say, obviously Matt Hardy got Guevara back for the whole chair thing because he bust him open really bad as well at one point, and then he hit him with that concerto as well with the cinematic match.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
Nasty.
That match was hard to watch. But the second pick for Botch of the Year, this one's slightly lighter note. This one's my pick because it was so goddamn funny. It was actually at the same show. It was during the Battle Royal where Evan Bourne, well, formerly Evan Bourne and Matt Seidel now. I was trying to remember what his name was. Matt Seidel, when he came out, and I was like marking out because I used to love Evan Bourne, and he comes out and he hits Sean Spears with a jumping knee, fantastic. Comes down to the ring, gets up in the top rope to do his shooting star press, and he jumps. He doesn't really rotate much, and then he just lands flat in his head. Luckily the guy wasn't hurt. I wouldn't be laughing about it if the guy was like hurt.
Yeah,
he was fine. He kind of landed in like his shoulder blades and neck, but it was so funny, man.
It was very Brock Lesnar.
It wasn't quite as bad as Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar landed on his head. He landed like here, and again knocked himself out. I'm sure he got a concussion from that. But thankfully, Matt Seidel was fine. There was no injuries, but it was very funny, especially for the very first thing he does in the company.
Yeah, talk about first impressions.
He comes down to the ring and he jumps and falls straight in his head. Oh, that was very funny. But moving on. Speaking of which, funniest moment of the year.
Funniest moment of the year. Oh man, I'm sorry, but I've been loving this guy so much, man. Look, you know what's coming. I've been loving this guy. You could pick many, many moments. Otis, my boy.
Oh,
Otis. Like,
I knew you were gonna do this.
Any time during a match is so funny. Like when he had Dolph Ziggler, he had him down, and him and Big E had a leg each, and they were doing the dance before they split him and all this sort of stuff. He's just super funny. Put it this way, if you don't believe me, what was keeping Raw afloat during their terrible ratings? It was the Otis love triangle. That is what was
Did you
keeping
not
it
maybe
going.
think that that's partly why they had such terrible, terrible ratings?
It was the bright light and the dark times. That's what it was.
Not, not Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton or any of that. Nah, just
Ra- Ra-
Otis.
Randy who? Who's that guy? Otis, my man. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, nah.
Him just like running about like, come on, Tucky.
No,
So, all right,
awful, awful. No, thank you. Awful stuff.
awful stuff. Not to no to Otis for me.
Yeah, I said no.
So, so who,
Sorry, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
what what is your funny moment of the year?
So for me, funniest moment of the year isn't actually on any of the major shows. For me, it's actually on Being the Elite. Because it is like a sort of comedy show, but it's like a wrestling themed comedy. It's like a wrestling themed sitcom. And specifically on Being the Elite, everything that the Dark Order have done with Hangman Page has just been fantastic. It's so goddamn funny, man. Because they're so for people who haven't watched it, and have only watched the sort of main show, you maybe know a bit of what's going on. So basically, they're doing the storyline mainly on Being the Elite at the moment, where obviously Hangman get kicked out of the Elite. So he's not like with them anymore. So he's been sort of depressed and miserable, and he's like just sitting moping about backstage, getting drunk all the time. So John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order, they're the recruitment specialists. That's the like tag team. So they start trying to like recruit him to join the Dark Order. But then it started as just like a sort of they pass by him because they do one every episode where they're trying to recruit someone. Sometimes it's like Frankie Kazarian, the Young Bucks, Matt Hardy, like all these different people. But they started it with Hangman, and it just sort of kept going. Where Hangman was always just sort of moping about, and Dark Order would try and recruit him, and it's just escalated, and it's just so funny, man. It's comedy gold.
So I know, of course, like there will be viewers out there that do watch that show, but it is a sideshow. Um, is there a funniest moment in an actual like full wrestling show, like a Dynamite or a Raw or a SmackDown or an NXT?
Probably the Matt Sydal botch. That was very
The Botch is my funniest moment.
that was very funny. Because my official pick for botch of the year is Matt Hardy knocking himself out.
Right, okay.
So I'd say the Dark Order and Hangman Page and Being the Elite, but for main show, Matt Sydal landing square in his neck was pretty funny. I try to think, 'cause WWE, I don't know, they don't really produce a lot of funny content. I think WWE are guilty of taking themselves too seriously a lot.
They do, and they they've only got a very select few that they'll allow to have funny moments, like an Otis or um or like an R-Truth, or you know what I mean. Um,
Do you know what was a good moment? Pretty funny. And no, it wasn't even meant to be funny because it was meant to be like a serious promo. But when Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton are like having a promo, and Drew McIntyre calls him a prick, that was so funny. I found that really funny as like a Scottish person hearing it in my accent. Drew McIntyre is going, "Do you know what you are, Randy? You're a prick." I was pissing myself laughing, man. It wasn't even meant to be funny, and I think if you were American and you were watching it, you wouldn't find that funny. But I was pissing myself laughing.
we didn't actually mention this, but I'm going to bring in a new shooty just randomly right now, this very
Oh,
moment. New shooty time. What is your faction of the year?
Oh shit! I can't believe we forgot about faction.
I know. What is your faction of the year?
Oh, that's a tough one. Nuts. I wish you should have texted me. We could have done that at the end.
I know I've just brought this out.
Could
Yeah.
have thought about it. You put me in the
Right.
spot now.
I tell you what. Then I'll give you some time. Gather your thoughts.
You go first. What's your faction of the year?
This is surprising because didn't like them to start off with. Previous podcast will tell you this. So I sound like I'm contradicting myself now if you're a listener.
I
But
don't know who you're gonna say.
I'm going to say the Hurt Business.
No.
The Hurt Business. Like, because my biggest bugbear with the Hurt Business was the MVP seemed to be the focal point and he was the main dude. But then MVP, obviously, because we're tight like that, he listened to me. He took a step back. You know what I mean? So he took a step back. He was like, "Here, Bobby Lashley, you take the reins, buddy. You be the focal point." And ever since he did that, you know, I've really been liking it. I've been liking the work. I have.
I knew you were going to pick the Hurt Business because you're so twisted. you sit and rag on them since they formed on this podcast, and to me personally, you've sat and ragged on them. And we get to the end of the year and do the awards. You spring a best faction award and then give it to them because of course you do.
Oh man, it was a work, but you all thought it was a shoot. Oh my god! No.
Turns out Jason has always liked them, but no.
No. To be fair, I said I've made my points on why I ragged on them and what's different now. They've grown on me.
That's fair.
I like them now that he's taking the back seat. And the only award that he held up in the last picture that they had when they all had a title was his Jiu-Jitsu award. Did you see that picture where they all had a title each? And he literally just won. It was a Jiu-Jitsu World Championship, and he's like 40 odd. Yeah, your faction of the year. Now you're an AEW guy, so you have many factions to pick from.
I do, but this is the problem because I am such an AEW mark. I'm like, oh my god, there's so many because there's the Elite, but then the Elite aren't really a thing now anymore. So because they're all sort of doing their own thing, so I probably wouldn't pick them. But then there's the Nightmare Family, which again they do appear together fairly often, but they don't really do much together.
Yeah, they're very meh to me. Meh.
I love the Dark Order. The Dark Order are just great.
For me in AEW, the main faction right now is Inner Circle. Really.
Yeah, the Inner Circle are very good. Personally, though, I mean, you know, if we're looking at factions, there's no better faction than the Bullet Club.
But is there no better faction than the Bullet Club now? There wasn't back then.
And the Bullet Club are still really good, though. To be fair, Jay White's fantastic, and because he's won the 2 titles now, he's their main champion now. And then Tama Tonga's fantastic. I love Tama Tonga. But no, I think as much as I do like the Bullet Club, I don't watch them enough, and they've not done enough this year because obviously Japan took quite a decent hiatus as well. So I think I'm going to have to go with the Dark Order, only because Inner Circle recently, I love the stuff that they've done with MGF. They've been really good recently, but before the whole MGF thing, they weren't really doing anything. And I find it hard to give the award to a team that haven't really done much for the majority of the year, whereas Dark Order have been consistently entertaining all year.
Yeah.
You know, and especially, you know, again, the late Brody Lee was all the stuff he did this year with Dark Order was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's a real shame for him because I felt he was one of those underused talents in WWE, and then he went to AEW, and I thought he was finally getting to where he needed to get. So it's a shame.
I'm glad he got to have that, you know, the title run, the sort of squash win against Cody, and obviously eventually did lose it back to him, but that it turned out that was his last match ever. And you know, everything he did for the Dark Order, because every single one of them now has their own sort of personality, has their own sort of place in the group. Because originally, remember, when they first started, it was literally just Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. It was just the two of them. And then they brought in like John Silver, holy moly, he's just been fantastic. And Alex Reynolds, Anna Jay. Anna Jay is another one who's been phenomenal. And you know what? The Ted and even Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana's in it now.
Yeah.
And I definitely think Hangman Page is going to join it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dark Order for me.
Yep, and before we move on, an honourable mention to Undisputed Era, because every year they're amazing.
Yeah, Undisputed Era are one of those sort of consistent.
Yeah, what I like about them is that they push each member to the front at different times. Like right now it's O'Reilly.
Yeah.
He seems to be the main dude that they're kind of pushing now.
I think personally, and I've thought this for a while. I think Roderick Strong will eventually turn on them and go on his own. I think it'll just be the three. I think it'll be Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish.
Yeah,
It'll go back to the original Undisputed Era, and I think Strong's going to go off and do his own stuff.
Yeah,
because he kind of teased it at one point, I'm sure, didn't he? Right when he was North American champion.
They did a little, and what a lot of people probably don't realize is that Roderick Strong is a vet. He's been doing this for like 15 years or something. Because I remember, like even back in TNA, he came in probably about 10, 15 years ago, and he was doing the Messiah the Backbreaker stuff.
Yeah.
Where he could backbreaker you for any angle. And so
he had a great match last year at Survivor Series as well with Styles and Nakamura, and he beat Styles and Nakamura, which was like, oh my god, what
crazy. Yeah, that's when NXT got recognized as probably the better brand, and then didn't feature this year. So,
of course,
WWE logic for you guys. But yeah, moving on. Have we got how many categories have we left, Lewis?
So we've got 3 left. So next one is the breakout star of the year.
Ooh, now this is the one I said you'd probably be surprised at my choice. I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you stew on that.
Well, considering you're saying that, I hope I've not took your one, but
yeah, see if you have now. I'm like, God damn
it! my breakout star of the year is freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Oh, see, he was going to be up there for me, so that's a good choice.
Freshly squeezed Orange. There's been a lot. There has been a lot of breakout stars this year. Leon Ruff comes to mind, and there's quite a few other guys, but for me, Orange Cassidy is just, he's proved every single person that doubted him, he's shut every single one of them up. Yeah. Because for all people saying, oh, it's stupid, or you can't wrestle and all this stuff, the match with Pac back at Revolution earlier this year was fantastic. I think it was in like February. That was fantastic. The whole program with Chris Jericho was phenomenal. He then turns out he's a great on the mic as well as in the ring. Because I mean, people who had watched him in the Indies already knew he was decent in the ring. He could go when he wanted to. I love his character. His character is extremely entertaining, and it's one of the most over things in all of wrestling. Never mind just AEW. I've never. It's almost on par with Chris Jericho for getting dumb things over.
Yeah.
Like, I have never heard a crowd pop like that for something like putting your hands in your pockets. Like, and as I say, the only person I can compare it to is Chris Jericho. You got a piece of paper over, and I think putting him in that feud with Jericho was fantastic. It was really, really smart booking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Orange Cassidy for me is just great.
Orange Cassidy, I'd heard a lot about him before I seen him. I'd heard about this. Everybody was calling him this anti-wrestler.
I'm sure it was me that showed you him, didn't I?
Yeah, because I'd said to you, I've been hearing a lot about this Orange Cassidy guy. Everybody's talking about him. I know he's in AEW. Who is he? And I was like, what does it mean to be an anti-wrestler? And it's comedy gold to watch him do like a
Yes.
proper swing up and then tap somebody in the leg, and you know what I mean.
Ooh. Ah.
It's amazing. I'm like, who? I was like, it's so simple that nobody thought of it. You know what I mean? It's
I
like
know.
how do we get to 2020 and nobody actually thought of that? But
I
it's
love
amazing.
I love the him with the best friends. They're really good together. The three of them. That's a decent stable as well. I like as well when they hug around him. So when they do the best friends do the thing where they go to each corner and they come into the middle and hug.
Yeah.
See when he's standing in the middle of them and they just hug around him. It's like you've got to give the people what they want. They need to put that in the AEW game. Omega, whoever else is working on it, Aubrey Edwards, listen to me because I know what I'm talking about when
You
it comes to
listen to me.
wrestling games. You need to do a thing where you can play as the best friends and do a tag team taunt where they hug and the camera pans out and Excalibur screams, "You've got to give the people what they want."
Oh my goodness. Right. My breakout star of the year. So Orange, I was torn because Orange Cassidy was up there, but I decided to put him to one side because I'm going to go for Darby Allin. I'm going
Hmm.
to go for Darby Allin. I was kind of sleeping on him a little bit, uh, and he
Okay.
recently he's kind of came to the forefront as a really good sort of talent that I can see in the future being even better. Sting came in and he tipped him straight away. Um, while he was sitting up in the rafters, very Sting-esque. But yeah, he won his. Was that his first title when he beat Cody for the TNT? Has he won
AEW, yeah.
in AEW? I don't like. That's what I'm saying. As a breakout star, I don't even know where they found him, where they got him from. But it was a real bit of talent scouting anyway. Because again, I was sleeping on him. I was just like, I don't know who this guy is with a half painted face, and his matches have been solid.
Yeah, and I feel like they booked him really well because a lot of wrestling promotions fall into the same sort of thing with like a plucky underdog because he's like small and skinny.
Hmm.
Um, but I feel like they've done a really good job of making him seem like even though he's short, he's a scary bastard, and he's just mental. Like that's his whole thing is that he's just a bit nuts because he you know like fucking
Yeah.
stuntman and all that stuff. But
Like he'll take anybody on because he's no fear. He's no
yeah,
scared.
but no, I'm shocked at the pick, but I do agree with you. Darby Allin has been really good this year.
Yeah,
Um,
and yeah, I was just trying to really think of somebody that I thought like 2021 they're going to be on bigger things. And I
yeah,
think Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin I think are going to be there.
well, yeah, definitely. Um, Now the next one, this is the second last one, and I think I could probably call what we're both going to say. But the second last shooty is promotion of the year. So, what has been your favorite show to watch consistently all year, not just for once or twice?
Mm, mm. Well, I think if you've listened to previous podcasts, I don't think WWE is what we're going to say here. Uh,
Listen, I'll go first because I think everybody who's ever heard me talk about wrestling knows exactly what I'm going to pick. It's Raw. No, of course it's my boys. AEW Dynamite, the best number one wrestling program in the demo gods. AEW.
nice, nice, nice.
What about
I,
you?
I want to agree with you because like when I have watched it, it's been very very enjoyable. But just to disagree, just to be that guy, I'm going to say NXT.
Mm.
I'm going to say NXT. Everybody loves a bit of war games. Everybody loves that, and just solid matches. Solid quick, simple stories that like they don't overdo it like WWE with heavy scripts and stories and dragging it out. And Lewis is looking towards the sky. Yep, those guys. Oh, Lewis is. What is going on? There we go. For the listeners and not the viewers, he's holding up an NXT title.
I got it for Christmas. NXT title and an AEW title. I've now got 4. So I've got the NXT UK title. I've got the AEW. I've got the regular old NXT belt here.
Yep.
And also, I have the classic WWF Winged Eagle belt.
Yep. Because your mum keeps buying you titles because you'll always be her little champion.
That's it. Exactly. Of course I will.
Of course. Yeah, so we went for NXT and AEW, very, very similar brands, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Were you even watching wrestling when that was a thing, that title?
No, I wasn't born.
Just me.
No, you would have been born when this was a thing either.
I'm sure I was.
No, because this was the Hogan belt. This was like the Hogan and Hitman Hart belt. The belt after this would have been the one that you saw, because it was the bigger one, the big fucking massive one, and that was like the one that like The Rock and Stone Cold had.
Yeah, is that the Undisputed belt? Is that one?
No, the Undisputed belt was after that. The Undisputed belt was the the WCW World Heavyweight, and that big belt.
Yeah, the big belt.
And then the Undisputed belt then get turned into the Spinner belt, which then get turned into the Rock's weird belt, which then get turned into the current one.
Yeah.
But this is the one that like Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, and all that one. This is like back in the 80s.
In the 80s, man.
So beautiful. But anyway, moving swiftly on, because there's most of the people that watch us won't even see this. So moving on to the final shooty.
Oh, the last, but certainly not least.
No, and I think it's probably one of the more important ones, because what is wrestling? It's matches. That's the most important thing. It's storylines, yeah. Characters, yeah. Titles, yeah. But the most important thing in wrestling is the matches. So the last shooty of the year is match of the year. So Jason, what is your pick?
For match of the year? Oh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go for, actually, this just came at the top of my head there because I was sleeping on it until I was like, oh wow. Eddie Kingston and Moxley, that was brutal. It was
very good.
Yep, Eddie Kingston is a crazy bastard. He's
a very crazy bastard.
And I knew that before seeing him on AEW. And I seen him. Yeah, I seen him get backbreakered on top of a folding chair on the folded part. Like, see, not the flat part that you sit on, like the bit your back's supposed to rest on. I seen him get backbreakered on that before. That was an Impact, and I swear his heels touched his head. It was disgusting. So as soon as I seen him on AEW, and I was like, and you're fighting Moxley, I was like, oh, I'm expecting so much carnage right now, and it did not disappoint. It didn't. What can I say? Maybe I've got a bit of EC dub in me, but I like
you love ECW.
I like the brutality. Give me the brutal stuff. But yeah, that's my match of the year.
Well, for me, I'm sure you
Kenny
can all
Omega,
know.
you're my man.
It is Kenny Omega.
Oh,
but
surprisingly,
it's not a match that he won.
Oh,
my match of the year, and it's not the Young Bucks with him and Hangman either. It's Kenny Omega versus Pac. Way back like
That seems
start
like
of
a
the year.
different year. That seems like
Yeah, it was way back at the start of the year.
is that when
And
crowds were here and stuff?
crowds were still there for it, and it was phenomenal. It was just phenomenal. No, but Kenny Omega versus Pac. Pac versus Orange Cassidy was also very good. I very much enjoyed that, but Pac strangling him out with a brutalizer until he just passed out on his feet was just amazing. Also, honorable mention as well for the Kenny Omega John Moxley Lights Out match, the one that Moxley won when he first came to the company. Again, another just phenomenal match. Kenny Omega is just the best wrestler in the world. But yeah,
Get off his dick, man.
no, the only reason I mentioned the Moxley Omega one was because you've made me doubt myself, and now I can't remember if Omega versus Pac was this year or not.
I think it was, to be honest, but that's what I'm saying. It seems like
On
a
the
different year.
on the off chance it was at the end of last year, I'll make my backup pick the Omega versus Moxley because it was also very good, and it was definitely this year.
But I'm sure you guys can tell us when you comment, right?
Yes, you can let us know.
Let us know. Say, Lewis, you're a dummy, or Lewis, you're absolutely correct. That was this year.
Dummy, yeah.
Dummy, yeah.
Dummy, yeah.
Yeah, I've just introduced Lewis to Eli Drake, or should I say Eli Drake? And
Oh man, I keep I keep calling everyone a dummy. I love it. I can't because again, those of you who have listened to the show before will know this. I don't really watch Impact, or well, I haven't. I've been watching it recently, but I've not really watched Impact for a long time, and since like Jeff Hardy was there, pretty much. And then before Jeff Hardy went there, I never really watched it either. So
yeah. I was watching, like, I'm an Impact guy, and I was watching Impact when Matt Hardy being broken was not popular and everybody hated it. That's how long I've been watching it. Because everybody.
I used to watch Impact back when like Hogan and Mick Foley were there, but
Oh
I
man,
stopped watching it.
that was back when it was ruined. The party was over when they joined.
No, I know,
But then now with the help of Kenny Omega and Tony Khan, things are back. They're back, baby.
oh yes, oh yeah. Go for more of a Churchill thing there
You
because I
went for
don't want it.
Churchill. You don't want to be
I'm sick of you saying that
Oh
I'm
yeah.
Otis.
Oh yeah.
Dummy, yeah.
Dummy, yeah.
Dummy, yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's been a long day.
Oh my goodness. It has been a long day. That is all our winners, the various winners of the shooties. Wow.
Yep, but just a reminder as well, the giveaway is you need to like and retweet our post on Twitter and DM us the answer. You need to obviously be following us. And the question, in case anyone's forgotten and has actually listened to the rest of the episode, the question is, when Randy Orton beat Drew McIntyre this year for the WWE Championship, how many total reigns did he have as of that win? So as of right now, how many championship reigns has Randy Orton had?
Yeah, and I think it's probably only fair to probably do this as a live draw. We'll have the winner live.
Probably
Not
be on Facebook because I don't think you can go on Twitter live.
no nope nope. Or we'll quickly do it like this, and then we'll post it for you guys real quick. Not entirely sure when it is, but we'll probably drop some messages when we're about to do it. And we'll grab that winner for you guys. But there is no winner without that like and retweet. So make sure you guys get that done.
Yeah. But just to remind you what you are all playing for, right here, Hangman Page. Oh, hold on, actually. I can show you exactly what it looks like out of the box because I have it.
Oh, you just wanted to do this? You just wanted to do it?
Here he is. But yes, incredibly rare at the moment. The Hangman pages, all the AEW ones, because I am a avid wrestling figure collector. I have a lot, and I've been desperate for the AEW figures. I want an MJF one, and I want the Young Bucks, but they're impossible to get anywhere unless you want to pay like literally triple what they're worth on like eBay and stuff. So I'm going to wait until they're more available than they are currently, but I'm definitely going to get more because they're really cool. But yeah, if you want one for free, all you need to do, listen to the episode, answer the question, and message us and follow and like us and, give us that sweet promotion. And then
Yep. So pretty much that is
yours.
it. Like if you scratch our back, we might scratch yours, and you might have a AEW figure.
Plus the thing is, doesn't matter where you're from. There's no restrictions. We can send it out to you. That's not a problem. I don't think there's any. There shouldn't be any restrictions on it. Should be able to just send it.
This is where they make us pay postage to Australia or something, right?
Oh no, we need to try and make sure none of them win. Got my fingers crossed. No one from Australia wins.
Oh wow, that's a real heel promo there.
Yeah, I really hope it's someone like round the corner.
Like I could maybe drop it off to you guys,
Yeah, but I'm not driving to Australia as much as I'd like to.
Oh man, wouldn't that be great if it was somebody close by and then you could get it like officially, like the actual guys from Shoot the Work appearing at your door, handing it to you like that,
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, man.
Pretty sweet, dude.
Like a real life cameo.
Yeah. But yeah,
Except we're the ones paying for it.
Man, well, yeah. So that has been this year's annual Shooties, and I really hope that there will be Shooties next year. I hope maybe next year that we've got a better name for the Shooties.
Yeah, we need to come up with something. The Wrestleys. I don't know. That sounds like a chocolate. Nestle.
You gotta be
Wrestling.
Yeah,
are we Wrestling coffee?
Yeah.
3-in-1.
Yeah, but everybody comment, give us better names for the Shooties. We need better names.
Yeah, and if you disagree with any of our picks, if there's ones that you think should have won the Shootie as opposed to what we picked, let us know. And in the comments, retweets, just feel free to at us. I'm more than happy with getting called a fucking idiot because I get called it all the time anyway.
Just ask his fiance. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, I've made a total fucking mess now in my room with pulling all those title belts out, so I'm going to go tidy up. But for the time being, I have been Liz.
And I have been Jason.
And this has been
Shoot the Work!
Shoot the Work!